Hello, students. This is chapter one uh, of geography of class 8th. So we are going to see, the things that are covered in this chapter, and this is NCERT book. I'm going to read through this entire chapter, and wherever necessary, I'll take a pause and explain you the meanings of the words, phrases, or paragraphs wherever I feel it is important, or wherever I feel like you might be having difficulty in understanding those things. Okay. So let's continue on. So here we go. The first chapter is on resources. Mona and Raju were helping Amma to clean their house. Look at all these things: clothes, utensils, food grains, combs, this but this bottle of honey, books. Each of these has a use, said Mona. That is why they are important, said Amma. These are resources. What is a resource? Was Raju's question to Amma. This was Raju's question to Amma. Anything that can be used to satisfy a need is a resource. A resource is anything that can be used to satisfy a need, that fulfills a need is a resource, replied Amma. Look around you and observe. Look around you and see. You will be able to identify many types of resources. You can find many types of resources around you. The water you drink when you are thirsty, the electricity you use in your house, the rickshaw you use to get home from school, the textbook you use to study are all resources. Your father has prepared tasty, a tasty snack for you. The fresh vegetables he has used are also a resource. Let's do. List out 5 resources you use in your home and 5 you use in your classroom. You can do this activity. Water, electricity, rickshaw, vegetable, and textbook have something in common. They have all been used by you, so they have utility. Okay, utility or usability is what makes an object or substance a resource. Utility or usability. The utility, how useful or how we use that object or a substance, is what makes it a resource. How does something become a resource? How does anything become a resource? Raju now wanted to know. Amma told the children that things become resources only when they have a value. When there is a value attached to a thing, to a substance, it becomes a resource. To use or its use or utility gives it a value. The use, its use or utility, its use or its utility, its usage, utility, usage or usefulness gives it a value. All resources have same value, said Amma. All resources have same value. Value means worth. Value means worth. Some resources have economic value, some do not. Some have economic value. Economic, economic, something that is related to money. That is economic. And some do not. For example, metals may have an economic value. Metals may have an economic value. It it impacts. If you have metal, you are rich. People who have huge amount of metal deposits, be it any metal, will definitely be a rich person. A beautiful landscape may not, whereas a beautiful landscape may not. But both are important and satisfy human needs. But both of these are important and satisfy human needs. Some resources can become economically valuable with time. There are certain resources that become economically valuable with time. As time progresses, it becomes more and more valuable. Your grandmother's home remedies have no commercial value today. The home remedies by your grandmother doesn't hold any commercial value today. But if they are patented But if these home remedies are patented and sold by a medical firm tomorrow, they could become economically valuable. So, what happens if the same home remedy is patented by a medical firm? It could become, that same home remedy would become too valuable. Patent, what do you mean by patent? It means the exclusive right over any idea or invention. Any idea or invention, and if you have any right over it, if you claim your right over it, it is called as patent. Okay. Now coming to page 2, glossary technology. It is the application of latest knowledge and skill in doing or making things. Time and technology are two important factors that can change substances into resources. These two are the most important factors, two important factors that can change substances into resources: time and technology. Both are related to the needs of the people. People themselves are the most important resource. People are the most important resource. It is their ideas, knowledge, inventions, and discoveries that lead to the creation of more resources. Okay? Their ideas, knowledge, the inventions, the discoveries lead to the creation of many more resources. Each discovery or invention leads to many others. One discovery lead to or invention lead to other discovery or invention. The discovery of fire led to the practice of cooking. With discovery of fire, we started cooking and other processes and different other things, while the invention of the wheel ultimately resulted in the in development of newer modes of transport, and the invention of wheel resulted in newer modes of transport that we see today. Okay, everything runs on wheels. The technology to create hydroelectricity has turned energy in fast flowing water into an important resource. Hydroelectricity, the technology used in create hydroelectricity, what has it done? It has turned in the flowing water. The flowing water has energy. That energy is turned into an important resource, a very valuable one. So I am a resource too. This kid asks her mother. So I am a resource too. Am I a resource too? Mother says, Yes, a very valuable one. You are a very valuable resource because you are human being. Human being is much more valuable than any other resources. Resources are generally classified into natural, human made, and human. There are three types of the resources are classified into three types: natural, which is given to us by nature; human made, made by humans; and human himself. Okay, now here is an activity. Circle those resources from Amma's list that are regarded as having no commercial value. Amma's list: cotton, cloth, iron ore, intelligence, medicinal plants, medical knowledge, coal deposits, beautiful scenery, agricultural land, clean environment, old folk, songs, good weather, resourcefulness, a singing voice, grandmother's home remedies, affection from families and friends and family. Okay, you need to sort of prepare a list that has no commercial value out of these. So now let's talk about the natural resources. Resources that are drawn from nature and used without much modification are called natural resources. We don't modify much of the resources that we get from nature. These are natural resources. The air we breathe, the water in our rivers and lakes, the soils, minerals are all natural resources. Many of these resources are free gifts of nature and can be used directly. These are given to us given to us in by in free given to us for free. Sorry. These resources are given to us for free by the nature, and this can be used directly. Take, for example, air, water. In some cases, tools and technology may be needed to use a resource, natural resource in the best possible way. Sometimes we might need tools and technology to use a resource in the best possible way. Okay. Take, for example, to extract coal from the or extract iron ore, what do we need? From the soil or from the stones, we have to undergo a lot many process before we can extract iron ore from the soil. Natural resources can be broadly categorized into renewable and non-renewable resources. Natural resources can be categorized into broadly two categories: renewable and non-renewable resources. What are renewable resources? Renew, make it new. Renew, again, new, fresh, new. So, renewable resources that can be renewed. Okay. Renewed resources. Renewable resources are those which get renewed or replenished quickly. Replenished, fulfilled. These resources get replenished quickly. Some of these are unlimited and are not affected by human activities, such as solar and wind energy. Some of these are not affected by human activities, such as solar and wind energy. Yet, careless use of certain renewable resources like water, soil, and forest can affect their stock. Water seems to be an unlimited renewable resource, but shortage and drying up of natural water resources is a major problem in many parts of the world today. Now let's see about non-renewable resources. Non-renewable the resources, resources that cannot be renewed are those which have a limited stock. We have a limited stock of these resources. Once the stocks are exhausted, finished, it may take thousands of years to be renewed. It might take us thousands of years to renew them or replenish by the nature. Since this period is much more than human lifespans, such resources are considered as non-renewable. These resources are considered non-renewable because these resources might take thousands of years to replenish. Coal, petroleum, and natural gas are some examples. These are non-renewable resources. The distribution of natural resources depends upon number of physical factors like terrain, climate, and altitude. So, what are the factors affecting resources? Different physical factors, factors that can be felt, physical factors like terrain. Terrain is the geology of a region, that is called terrain. Climate and altitude. Climate, how warm or cold the weather of a region is, and altitude, and what is the height or depth of that particular place or region, that is altitude. Height from sea, height from sea level, that is called altitude. Height or depth from the sea level is altitude. The distribution of resources is unequal because these factors differ so much over the earth. The distribution of resources is not equal around the earth. It is very different from region to region because of these factors. Terrain doesn't remain same, climate doesn't remain same, and altitude doesn't remain same everywhere around the earth. So it has effect on the resources, human made resources. Sometimes natural substances become resources only when their original form has been changed. Only the when we change the natural substance, it becomes, sometimes natural resources become resources. These natural substances will become resource only when its original form is changed. Take for example, iron ore was not a resource until people learned to extract iron from it. Iron ore. Iron ore is, iron that remains within the soil. that is iron ore. You could hardly, uh, with your bare hands, you could hardly, differentiate, like, extract iron from the iron ore. It would seem like rock, soil, and all those sort. So you need to extract iron from this iron ore. People use natural resources to make buildings, bridges, roads, machinery, and vehicles, which are also known as human made resources. Okay, roads, machinery, vehicles, these are human made resources. Technology is also a human made resource. Technology is a human made resource. So people like us use natural resources to make human made resources. We use natural resources to make human make made resources, said Mona, nodding in understanding. Nodding head. You nod your head when you either agree or disagree, yes or no. You nod your head and communicate in understanding, yes, said Raju. Okay. Stock of gloss. This is glossary. Stock of resource. It is the amount of resources available for use. This is stock of resource. Let's do. Think of a few renewable resources and mention how their stock may get affected by overuse. You need to do this. Let's do also make a list of 5 human made resources that you can observe around you. Continue on. Human resources. People can make the best use of nature to create more resources when they have the knowledge, skill, and the people can make best use of resources when they have the knowledge, skill, and the technology to do so. We need knowledge, skill, as well as the technology to do so. So with the help of all these things, we can better utilize the resources. This is why human beings are special resource. This is why we are special resource. People are human resources. People are human resources. Education and health help in making people a valuable resources. What all? Education and health. These two help in making people a valuable resource, improving the quality of people's skills so that they are able to create more resources is known as human resource development. With the improvement in the quality of people's skill, these human resource development is created. Okay, conserving resources, conserving, saving resources. Mona has had a nightmare. Mona had a nightmare. She dreamt at night. She dreamt that all the water on the earth had dried up and all the trees cut down. All the waters had been dried up and there were no trees. They were all cut down. There was no shade and nothing to eat or drink. There was no shade and nothing. There was nothing left to drink or eat or drink. People were suffering and roaming around, desperately looking for food and shade. People were roaming here and there, and desperately looking for food and shade. She told her mother about the dream. Amma, can this really happen? Can this happen really? Yes, Amma replied. If we are not careful, then even renewable resources can become very scarce. Then the renewable resources that we do have can become very scarce, become very limited. And the non-renewable ones can definitely get exhausted. And the non-renewable resources will definitely for sure get exhausted, will get finished over. What can we do about it? Asked. Lots, replied Amma. Raju asked, what can we do about it? And Amma replied, lots. We can do lot many things. Glossary. Sustainable development. Carefully utilizing resources so that besides meeting the requirements of the present, also takes care of future generations. This is sustainable development. Using resources carefully and giving them time to get renewed is called resource conservation. What is resource conservation? Using them carefully and giving them time to get renewed is called resource conservation. We give them sufficient time to get renewed. Balancing the need to use resources and also conserve them for the future is called sustainable development. Balancing the need to use resources We need to use the resources and also conserve them. We need to make a balance between the two, in usage of the resource and conserve. How we preserve them for the future. There are many ways of conserving resources. There are many ways by which we can conserve, save resources. Each person can contribute by reducing consumption, recycling, and reusing thing. Every person can contribute by consumption, by reducing consumption, recycling, and by reducing consumption, increasing recycling, and reusing things. Ultimately, it makes a difference because all our lives are linked. Because it ultimately it makes a difference because all our lives are linked. That evening, the children and their friends made packets and shopping bags out of old newspapers, discarded clothes, and baskets from bamboo sticks. We will give a few to every family we know, said Mona. After all, it is for a very good cause, said Mustafa, to save our resources and to keep our earth alive. I am going to be very careful not to waste paper, said Jessie. Many trees are cut down to make paper, she explained. I will see that electricity is not wasted in my house, shouted Mustafa. Electricity comes from water and coal. I'll make sure that water is not wasted at home, said Asha. Every drop of water is precious. Together we can make a difference. Chorused the children. Children chorused means talk in group, say in same voice. These are some of the things Mona, Raju, and their friends did. What about you? How are you going to help in conserving nature resources? How are you going to help conserve the resources? The future of our planet and its people is linked with our ability to maintain and preserve the life support system that nature provides. This is how our future is panned out. Our future depends on how we use the resources that are available today. Therefore, it is our duty to ensure that all uses of renewable resources are sustainable. All the uses of renewable resources are sustainable. All the diversity of life on earth is conserved. The diversity of life on the earth is conserved, saved. The damage to natural environment system is minimized. Natural environment system, we do not cause much damage to the natural environment system. Some principles of sustainable development: respect and care for all forms of life. We need to respect and care all the forms of life available on the earth. Improve the quality of human life. Conserve the earth's vitality and diversity. We need to conserve the earth's, save the earth's vitality and diversity. Minimize the depletion of natural resources. Save the resources from depletion. Change personal attitude and practices towards the environment. We need to change personal attitude and practices. Enable communities to care for their own environment. We need to enable communities to care for their own environment. Okay, that's it. So you can go through this chapter. So, oh, you can practice like once or twice, read through the entire chapter, and then, try to. I have explained the meanings of these words. I have tried to explain them in English only rather than translating them back into Hindi. So, I hope this video makes it easy for you to understand the chapter. Keep learning, keep practicing. Best wishes. Thank you so much.